hoped? Or will
Yeah.
that adjustment then be applied, right? Are the teams going to go like, you know what, this didn't really work too well. Let's instead try a different approach, right? Maybe we weren't aggressive enough, or maybe we were too aggressive, right? Let's maybe dial it back a little bit and see if we can maybe get a better secured rotation, or maybe find a better position to rotate into or fight from on the edge of that zone. So I think there's going to be a lot that will be revealed as we step into that first match, as kind of what the flavor of the day will be. Is it going to be violence? Is it going to be strategy? Or is it going to be a mix of both?
I hope it's gonna be a mix of both. Or if I have to choose one, like from the strategy or the violence, I really hope it's violence, because it kind of solves everything sometimes. Sometimes, not all the times. It's not the answer for every time, but yes, it's sometimes. So especially in these kind of lobbies where you only have 1 days of one chance of each map to like play it off. But here we go, ladies and gentlemen. We are in our first match of the destruction of the last chance. It is Miramar. I don't know why it says Erangel on the top, but it's Miramar, ladies and gentlemen. It's Miramar. It's going from the south side of the Los Leones all the way up to the Campo Militar, a hard eastern favored plane line. But the circle's going to determine majority of the thing. Is it going to go really hard on the left side where there's El Pozo, there's La Drelia, there's Monte Nuevo, or I really hope a PMGC circle?
That'd be quite interesting to be, if we get that. Quite interesting to be. Yes, proper English coming through on my end on that side. But here we go, as we'll find out where that zone is going to be taking us very, very soon. The flight path almost concluded. As you can see, the teams breaking off. Champions, though, going to be looking to get themselves situated all the way over in towards Puerto Pareso. I think it's a decent starting location, quite separated from the rest of the lobby, so they won't have to fight anybody to get their hands on some good starting loot. But the big question is, how will that rotation then need to be to get them towards that next zone? Of course, we don't quite know where it is just yet, but it is over there somewhere. Hopefully it decides to reveal itself soon. Oh, there we go.
Ouch. Ouch. Kinda ouch. Because I was expecting a destructive circle, but no. We're not going to have a destructive circle at this point. Los Leones, yes, there is 2 to 3 different teams going into the area, into that location. So we might see some early frags and early clashes early on. But oh my god, fourth round. Guys, they're taking the fight. There we go. That's a 1 knockdown. That's a 1 confirmation. 2 points going straight to the fourth drives. But there is the team, the one that just 4-3 took down 2 of their players. The third guy has the M249. He has a machine gun. He pulled out the big guns right there. But if you go there, if you see him, make sure you are not into his M249 spray. But there we go, 4 thrives. I don't know why. Why would you go there with this health, with this gun? But at the same time, there's Talon in the back doing a third party of this area. So 4 thrives, not only they have to be careful of the front lines with the team that is in the front side, but also the back side where it is Talon Esports.
The pressure we said was going to be high, and these teams aren't wasting a moment. So you can see Nexury already down to that 2 peaks. Going to try and see if they can maybe pick up a few additional pieces, trying to play for those eliminations. But look at this though, Talon absolutely relentless in their efforts, reaching all across the way. Are they going to be able to jump into the angles here? Oh, good finish though, as 4 Thrive will be our first team getting eliminated. Out they go, at least walking away with 3 eliminations to their name. But now look at Nexury down to a solo. Fortunately, Falcon, or Talon rather, are going to be keeping their distance, so we could see them maybe survive a little while longer. Also then jumping over to the side here of ASI8 up into Los Leones. They do have some company. And now E-Arena, they are going to be hungry for those elims.
Oh my god. They're definitely hungry. And Los Leones, it is contested by these 2 players so far. But Arena, they have the higher ground, if I have to say. They have the compound that they can go on the rooftop. They can spot down the players from the very top. But at the same time, ASI8, they have a single compound, and I think it's a 2-2 split that ASI has. Yes, even the under construction building, there is the players of the ASI crypto is just moving into the backside, maybe trying to get even on a higher ground. But Josefa, he's just chilling with the M249. He's waiting for the players, for the teams to actually enter the compound. Then he's going to make sure that he's doing all the damage. But Nexori is the last guy that was alive, taking down 4 Thrives as 3 players. They have finally been eliminated. Both teams with the 3 eliminations so far. Nexori, 4 Thrives. These are the 2 names that has been concluded, that has been finished off into this game early on. Now, Talon with the 2, Kinotrope right now, close to the D Xaviers, and DX. In fact, it is DRX, not Kinotrope. It's DRX, close to the proximity of D Xaviers. And we will have to see how are they going to utilize this momentum or utilize any of the chances that they have from this point onward. Because if you're talking about DRX Nia, this guy's on the rooftop. He's just chilling. He's waiting. Anyone coming on the rooftop, he will be making sure that there is a lot of damage done. Big Mama also waiting for the opportunity that anyone's trying to use the stairs, they're going to get heavily shot at. But Team DB so far, DX, no. D Xaviers, I'm not sure if they're actually going to aggress or they're going to wait for the opportunity that the other team is just going to go away or not, because the circle's still there with them. Stage number 1, they're in the safe. If they want to, they can kind of play it safe.
It's an interesting change, though, to see DRX still holding into this exact same drop location, right? 4 Thrives used to drop here with them for the previous few days. Today, of course, they chose a different location, and we know how that went for them. But I'm curious to see what is going to be the change coming through from the side here of D Xavier. Are they going to maybe just flush DRX, or will DRX be able to get the jump on them? Because looking at what we have currently coming on the side here of DRX, they're not doing all that much, right? They're holding nice and steady in their positions, waiting for D Xavier to kind of reveal themselves so they can play the position up against them. But now Nia, up on that roof, as you pointed out, is going to try and get the jump down onto D Xavier as they continue to push on forward. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That is not a name that you can say in at a very quick pace. It'll take you a hot second there. We'll just go with numbers. But already, D Xavier down to a potential 3-piece as the contention continues to build here.
A1 and Champions. These are also the 2 names taking the fight. Look at that. It's going back and forth. And A1 Champions, they're losing their players one way or another. That's 3 down on both sides. But wait a second. I think that both of the teams actually got it. No, Champions 1 is alive. Okay, C1 is alive. A1 Esports got a finisher, but Champions lost all of their 3 players. It's just a solo guy that is right now alive from this point onward. He's the one responsible for that. But Champions, for how long are you going to survive as Boom Esports come into the play, takes the final guy, and Champions with that as well gets eliminated. This is going completely on the aggressive side. It's going very haywire at this point. Every team, they're taking the fight. There's always a third party in the midst of that.
Yeah, love to see the aggression, though. We know now what the teams chose to come into this match with. Absolute aggression. Now, DRX, Nia, interesting position. Angled quite high up. Another high position that we see is going to come through from the side of E Arena as they are down to a duo. ASR8 now starting to send on forward. Beautiful bit of shotty right there up on the corner. Got to watch out, not out of the woods just yet, but of course, all the noise they are making is going to draw the attention of Alliance. As we can see, Alliance now taking their steady approach. Crypto still keeping that off angle, but there we have it. The third party comes through, and E Arena get eliminated. But now, Celcom Diggy Alliance, this is their opportunity to get that quick play over onto ASI 8.
That's an easy entry, I would say, against Team ASI right now, because they kind of got a lot of players that knocked out. This would have been the golden opportunity, I would say, for this Celcom Diggy Alliance to actually push, get those shots connected on the ASI 8 and just eliminate them whatsoever. But going on about the circle. Circle is going to take a shift towards the La Bendita side. Lastly on this, yes, it is still kind of inside of that circle. Celcom Digi Alliance, they are into the safe side of the circle, but there's always a different team. There's always a different team into the close proximity. You can see Boomy Sports. You can see Voin Donkeys alongside of the way as well. Whereas Team Talon Esports, they're also going straight up near the side of the Voin Donkeys. But I see Kasim from the Celcom Digi Alliance going straight into the face of the Voin Donkeys. This can be a detrimental fight. I want to see what Kasim is going to do from there. Is he going to take his car, get out of there as soon as he can, or is he going to be taken down from this point onward? But Xavier so far, no movement whatsoever. We saw them a while ago in the Spicado region, and they are still here, just chilling out alongside of the team that is DRX at this position. None of the players, none of the teams have moved even a single bit from their original location to another one.
It's an interesting position that they do find themselves in. We also did see Alpha 7 just over on towards that western side, moving past Power Grid. So I'm curious whether or not Alpha 7 is going to come knocking on the door, or are they going to continue to rotate just onto those hills to the south there of San Martin. In the meanwhile, DRX and Xavier finding themselves in a bit of a standoff. Nothing too much happening for the time being. It does seem like Alpha 7 instead are going to be looking to maybe get themselves set up a lot closer to the crater. We do see Boom off in the distance. There we go, getting the vehicles unstuck. Boom is just ahead of them. So Alpha 7 needs to be very cautious as to how they rotate up to here. They will see the vehicles moving. Oh, it's not going to be Yumi. Could be experiencing a little bit of that fire heading in their direction. But Boom just going to be scouting out the area, making sure that they don't get caught by surprise. But I think for Alpha 7, this is an interesting spread.
I mean, this is kind of, yeah, it's really unique, I would say. But still, not sure on how it's going to be possible. But Sem9, in fact, Boomy Sports so far on our screen, they have 2 eliminations close to the proximity of the Sem9, and there we go. It is Sem9's player, Yumiko. And this guy, oh my god, this guy has been a beast throughout the series of the playoffs. He has done the 1v3s. I've seen them. We have seen them. He has done the 1v2s, all of those. Even a close to a 1v4, but kind of failed on that. Still, he has the potential. He has the location advantage as well, because look at Sem9's location in the circle. They are completely in the, not only just in the circle, but they also have a decent positioning for themselves. But Alpha 7 now, they're moving close to them. DRX, they're also pushing on towards the team. That's the Xaviers. DRX versus Xaviers. It is 3 grenades into the hand of QXZZZ. He's going to cook it up. 1 second, half second. He's going to throw it. It's going to hit and nade to T. Got naded right there. And then that's a knock. That's a confirmation. And Xaviers kind of not into a really good favored advantage. And Nia, oh my god. I don't think so that the player actually knows the location. He just shot at that without even knowing. But if he does, that's insane. Okay, now he does know where the player is situated at. In fact, Nia, he's not moving too much. He's not making any kind of like aggressive move upon on the team. But Kinotrope, oh my god, DRX taking all the players of the Xaviers. It's over right there. DRX getting 4 eliminations without a single casualty.
Well, it shows that it did help them a little bit to be a lot more patient. But now, will that patience pay off as they need to get their butts all the way back into zone? A minute and about 20 seconds remains on the clock before that closure will occur. Down towards the southern side is where the pressure will continue to mount. As you can see, teams frantically trying to lock down positioning here. Kinotrope up on the hill. Voin Donkey holding nice and steady over towards the southern side, looking for their opportunity. We also then see the players there from Celcom Digi holding over to their eastern position. So they need to be quite cautious as to how they take these fights. And now Kinotrope rushing right into the middle is going to get absolutely picked up here by Potato. But still, no clear decisive moves being committed to. Kinotrope going to be a little bit hesitant. Don't want to full send it just yet. send out a scout, and well, they know now where not to go.
I mean, the aggression we saw at the start of the match by all of these teams doing a third party, doing a face-to-face head collision, it has kind of gone to a stalemate from this point onward as soon as we have moved to the stage number 3. But there we go, ASI 8 versus Cellcom Digi Alliance. It's finally happening. The two teams that will face off against each other at one point in time, they're once again face off against each other. ASI 8 on the receiving end so far, getting one player knocked out. Already, Casanova has been knocked, and he has finally been eliminated right there and then, leaving ASI down to the last 2 players that they are. Boom Esports, they're still alive with the 4-man squad that they have. There's Voin Donkeys into the midst of all of this. Gakor slowly approaching the situation, but he has been contested by not 1, not 2, but 3 of the players by Voin Donkeys. Machi, beautiful cover from the backside. At the same time, look at Ryzak on the back angle. He manages to get another one down. This is not looking good for the Kinotropes. The situation has been completely overturned on the Kinotropes' player. That's Finale, solo guy. He's cooking that grenade to throw it up. It does a lot of damage. Ryzak gets knocked down by the hand of Finale. But now the DBS, is it going to connect? The answer is no, because before he even can shoot even a single bullet, he's going to be taken down from the back.
I mean, I love this efficiency coming through from Voin Donkey. This is what we wanted to see come through in the previous 2 days of their gameplay. But now, it's going to be Talon looking to contest against the side here of Boom. Boom prepping up a few of their own little Boom balls there as they send them over the wall. They do find a beautiful opening play. That is Talon now having yet another player getting stopped. And this is where it all starts to fall apart for them, as Talon don't have many options remaining. You can even see the players there from DRS feeling a little bit of that heat as Broom now come in with so much aggression.
Oh my god, there's a lot of things going on back and forth by all of these teams. Boom Esports so far, Yummy Johan, he's taking the blue damage. He's trying to move in the circle as soon as he can, and that's exactly what he's going to do. Now they have to move in the blue, inside the safe zone area, because if they don't, that's another problem that they're going to have to face. But so far, Zero successfully entering the circle, successfully having a good, decent location. Sem9 in the meanwhile, there's the Team Talon into the vicinity as well. A7 versus DRX happening into a different area. Different locations. DRX down to their potential last player, but Voin Donkey's Potato, he has been spotted. He's getting shot, but successfully surviving, getting into the safe side angle. And there we have it, sir. There we have it. Talon, as they get eliminated, we are officially down to the top 7 teams. The situation is not looking good for these players at this point. Some of them, in fact, but for majority of them, with a 4-man alive team like Boom Esports, Cellcom, there's Sem9 and A7, they definitely have a chance that if they survive till the top 5, one of them at the very least is going to have like a decent chance of getting that winner in a chicken dinner.
Yep, the opportunity is there. It's all going to come down to how committed they are to making it all the way to that finish line. But I love this pressure though. 7 teams as we now reach the end here of stage number 4. Love the angles with the crater being so close to center here as well. Boom going to try and ride the ridge. Point Donkey going to keep it nice and steady, looking to lock it down. But it seems like Boom now are going to opt maybe for a little bit more of a northern rotation, trying to use the ridge line just to get a quick reposition, maybe a little bit of a different angle, because based on what Voin Donkey's been doing so far, Boom are going to have a pretty tough time to push in here. But look at that crater though. Alpha 7 going to look to capitalize on it as far as they can.
I mean, that's exactly what they're trying to do at this point. And every single one of those teams, Cellcom's location kind of scattered, and I don't think that's a good situation that you have put yourself into. You should be sticking together in this small of a circle. Yes, you're covering more radius, more area of the circle for yourself, but you're also putting yourself into a very dangerous gameplay that if any one of you gets a knockdown, he or that player, in fact, they're not going to be able to survive. It's an instant confirmation right there. You're going to lose a player. You're going to lose a potential chance of securing that winner chicken dinner at the very end. But top 7 teams, Voin Donkeys, Potato once again has been spotted getting shot by the Selcom Diggy Alliance. It's kind of like they have been denied the entry inside that circle. As soon as they're trying to do that, Voin Donkeys, they're instantly getting a lot of damage on them. But DRX, another one of the teams that got fully finished up, top 6 it is. Only these 6 teams within the 5th stage is remaining. 19 minutes have passed. 21 players are alive. A7, yes, this is their first fight that they have just got for themselves. In fact, 1 position, 1 elimination. Sem9 with the 2 placement points as well, because right now they are receiving the 2 placement points if they get eliminated from this point onward. But no elimination whatsoever. On the other side, Boom Esports, not only they have 2 placement points, but right now with 8 elimination, even if they get eliminated here, they're still on the double-digit points. Some come to G Alliance. This is what I'm talking about. One player gets a knockdown. Kasim, there is no hope for the guy to be revived. Machi gets that elimination. And with this, Selcom is now down to the 3.
We're at that point where if a knock has occurred, you got to try and finish that up as quickly as you can, because if you don't, another team will definitely take that point away from you. But looking at Alpha 7, though, quite a bit of a rotation. They came in from the north, now moved over on towards this eastern side. The rest of the lobby predominantly focused on towards the western front. Mafioso still going to be trying to ride the ridge here, maybe getting themselves just on the edge of that crater, which would provide them with quite a bit of a vantage point to play off of. But speaking about vantage points, Mastery is going to be stopping Sem9 in their tracks as they move further towards the eastern side, picking up 2 of their players already. Sem9 now holding on with only half a squad. Not quite sure how they're going to make it out of this one. Voin Donkey also now really stepping into the fight here, looking to mobilize already 4 eliminations up. Are they going to be able to secure even more? Of course, Boom, they want to hit those double digits. 1 elimination away from accomplishing that goal. But are they going to stop at just 10, or will they try and absolutely obliterate the rest of the lobby?
I mean, the chances are there that Boom Esports, the momentum that they have picked themselves into, it might even get them a win over the chicken dinner at this point because of how well versed they are together. They're sticking together to the very end. Alpha 7 is another team close to the proximity of the Voin Donkeys, and the grenades is being cooked right now. Carrillo. The grenade actually went forward. Machi did not get even a slight bit of damage, but you're wasting your grenades. You're wasting your utilities. You need to focus on using those smokes if you have any. Yes, he does. He has 4 smokes. Use them. Get into the car. Get out of the player. Get out of this place and get in the circle first and foremost. This is stage number 6. This is not a child's play. You're going to receive a chunk of damage outside of the blue. But Sem9, in fact, Boom Esports, now they're also moving. The team that had the 9 elimination, now together they're moving. They're kill hungry, they're elimination hungry, and they're ready to get that streak rolling up. But Carrillo, after using all of his utilities, all of the grenades that he can possibly muster up, he's finally going to get into the car. He's finally going to move back, maybe try to get in the circle, but now it's too late. It's too late. There's a lot of teams in this area, in this region, that can hinder your rotation. Voin Donkeys being 1 and 4 most team that not only enter the circle, but they also have some cover for themselves. But no, Alpha 7, Carrillo, what grenades couldn't do, his gun is definitely going to achieve. Get a knockdown, almost getting a confirmation on towards the player as well, but Carrillo finally receiving damage from Telcom Digi Alliance. It's a third party, once again, at DK.
Yep, third parties are going to be coming in hot and steady as Voin Donkey now down to Potato. Of course, it is going to be Alpha 7 looking to just dial up the aggression here as they come rushing on forward. Still going to be very cautious of Selcom Digi Alliance holding just on that high ground. But Alpha 7, I like these anchor points that they've been able to secure. Right now we got Mochi getting picked up as well as Voin Donkey is going to be feeling that heat, holding on with their solo. Selcom Digi receiving a little bit of a response here as Alpha 7 start to move in, capitalizing on the slight bit of a ditch that they have. It's going to be Voin Donkey Potato trying to see if they can maybe pop, but they can't. Instead, they will make their trip right back into the lobby. Final 5 teams we are. And it is going to be ASI8 coming through with a duo Now, Boom Esports on that far southern side looking for a bit of an entry point into the zone.
This is insane at this point. Every one of these players, they have done something. They have got some eliminations, but I'm not talking about Sim9 at this point because I just realized they only have 0 elimination. No point whatsoever on the elimination side. So they still need to make something work out. But ASI, on the other hand, taking down one player of the team Alpha 7, getting a knockdown, a confirmation, but you're this close to a team, and you're looking at the long angle. Boom Esports is definitely going to punish you. That's the 10th, not the 10th, 11th elimination for the team, successfully getting themselves into the double digits just on the elimination side. But the Molotov, the grenades, they're not going to confirm the elimination, but 0 finally is being knocked out. One player of the team, Boom Esports, has finally been taken down. It's a knockdown, it's a confirmation, it's a back and forth going around. 11 eliminations, but at the cost of 2 of their players. That's a 12th one coming up. S12K, this guy is a menace. No matter what he is doing, he's using all the S12Ks down to the full, mastery. He's getting every shot connected. This guy is insane, but Alpha 7 now being the only player in this vicinity taking the fight, but S12K working out against the team Boom Esports, getting them down. There's always a third party. There's always a bigger fish coming to get that harpoon right into you. Carillo in the car, but Sem9, the team that finally managed to secure 2 eliminations, is also being contested from the backside by the hand of ASI8.
This is where ASI8 now look to turn the whole match on its head as they are looking to strike fear into the side here of Sem9. Already one player is going to be falling down now. Sem9 back on a duo. It is going to be a beautiful showdown here. A 2v2 for the finish. But look at that Crypto with a beautiful read on the angle. Does back quite a bit of a punch into the side here. But now Sem9 trying to rebound. I think I'm pushing on forward. It all now turns to remaining hopeful here. It is going to be the side here of Huza trying to keep the torch alight. It is going to be ASI8 down to a solo, a 1v1 showdown. Yumiko now for the side here of Sem9 is going to be an absolute menace. Got to watch out for that player. Let's see whether or not Huza is going to be able to close this up, or will Yumiko end the match right there?
I have the high ground. No, I have the high ground. Yumiko said that exactly towards the player. But now, Zephyr getting a lot of damage from that grenade, and in an instant, that S12K is going to connect, getting that winner chicken dinner for the Sem9. Yumiko once again coming with the clutch for the team, getting that winner chicken dinner. Trexy, Fire, and Mika, and Yu-Hai. These 4 players were not available there. Okay, Yumiko was there. I kind of want to see Yumiko in the midst of that to have that smile for the winner chicken dinner. But Sem9 it is, ladies and gentlemen. These are the players. This is the team that not only managed to survive till the end, because we saw them into the top 5 even with 0 eliminations. After it was top 4, top 3, they had 2, they had 3, 4, 5, and I think with that they managed to secure 5 eliminations in total with that winner chicken dinner. But MVP goes to Yummy Johan, 6 elimination and almost 1200 damage, 1149 damage to this guy's name. 23 minutes of survival time with almost the clock ticking close to the 24th minute marker. He's the MVP of the last chance match number 1.
What a well-deserved award that is. So much damage getting brought in here. But of course, Boom, as a collective, did pack quite a bit of a punch, bringing in so many points with regards to those eliminations alone. So curious to see where they find themselves with regards to those points in our match standings right here. But yep, a very exciting start. Who would have thought that Murmur was going to go this quickly, right? Very similar to what we had in day 2 and day 3, and I love this kind of pacing coming through from the teams. It keeps everybody on their toes, and nobody knows when this match is going to be ending.
I mean, this is just the start. This is just the start of the destruction of the one and only day of the last chance survival. And Yummy Yuan being one of the guy that has made sure that with the highest elimination and the highest contribution in the whole game, he's the MVP. But there we go. Boom Esports, even though with not the chicken dinner, not the second place, not the third place, but fourth place for them with 4 placement points. Oh my goodness. They are still on the very top with 12 eliminations, 16 total points. Then Sem9 comes into the play. It's not even 5 eliminations. There we go. It's straight up 13 total points with 3 elimination, 10 placements. ASI 8, 11 total points. 10 for Alpha 7. Celcom Digi Alliance with 8. 6 for Wine Donkeys. DRX with 17. Talon 18, Champions Esports with the 4, 3 for Nexori, 3 for 4 Thrives, 2 for Kinotrope, a 1 with the 2, and E Arena with the 1. But D Xaviers, the name that did not got any kind of points, any kind of placements, or the elimination is this one.
Yeah, it's unfortunate for D Xavier, but as we know, sometimes some teams will have to get a big fat bubble because we've just seen so much aggression coming in from the rest of the lobby. But you got to give it up to Boom. They made this lobby go boom, so well done to them. But that's only the first match. As you've said, we still have a few more to come, so there could be quite a bit of a change as we progress further and further into this day. But there we have it. It is now official. We can see, of course, those chicken dinners now being put into place. So Sem9, yes, they were the team to score the victory, but who will be the rivals, right? So many teams could step up to this plate, and you actually got to give it up to ASI 8. I think they played really well up into that late stage of the match.
That is absolutely true. ASI 8, we have to give it to them the way that they played till the very end, because they were one of the few potential teams at the very start of the game, with Celcom Digi Alliance being on the Los Leones area, the Xaviers being there as well, kind of being into the very location that could have been the elimination number for them. They could have been eliminated there, but they not only survived, they got out of the Los Leones and survived till the very end as a duo, as a trio. And last moment, it was Sem9, ASI, where Sem9 finally secured the winner chicken dinner. But yes, match number 1 is done and dusted. We still have 5 more matches or more to go. In today's match is the last chance, so do not go anywhere. Enjoy the highlights while we will take a short break.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Asia Showdown Season 3. We're getting into our second match right here for the last chance. And, of course, what we've seen already is that these teams are coming in to prove a point. Of course, we also know that they want to get their butts back into the top 9, right? They want to make it into the grand finals to win their share of that amazing prize pool that we have. But yes, the first Miramar done and dusted. Of course, we are getting ready to move into our first Erindale for the day here. And Dorix, what do you think we are going to be looking at here? Is it going to be another fast-paced match, or is it going to be slowing down a little bit?
I mean, with the first match being that much aggressive, every single team was going for a third party or kind of into the straight up 1v1 scenarios against the teams. I mean, with this, we can just assume that yes, it will be a destructive one and everyone is going to go for that aggressive stances as well. But it all depends upon the mentality. They played one good game, one aggressive game, one maybe they're going to play with a strategy to see how well the lobby is devising with the complete momentum change of the maps. Miramar, yes, we can assume because of the fact that it's such a huge map, there's a lot of possibilities for those aggressive stances as well. But Miramar, you know it's contested. There's always going to be someone close to you, close to the proximity of you, and you know that in the back of your head that if you take a fight, there's always a chance that there's not just one team from the backside, a third party, but two different teams that can actually do a third or fourth party on you, depending on the situation at what at stake at this point is on this platform. For the last chance, you only have 5 more matches to play. So with that, I assume it's going to be a very slow kind of paced map, slow kind of paced game, but it all depends on the teams at the very end of the day.
Well, I'm going to hope for the opposite of that, right? I want to see some quick plays. I want to see some hot drops coming in, some pretty crazy action right out of the gate here. And of course, we'll be making our way into that match momentarily to see exactly what these teams are going to have to deal with once they make their way through there. But yeah, I appreciate what the teams have been doing so far. I mean, we've been seeing some new contenders rise up to claim those winner chicken dinners. We might have seen 1 or 2 come through from Boom throughout that qualifying stage, but not so much so that they made it through into where those points could definitely help them. Of course, that wasn't the first one, but that was the first winner chicken dinner for Boom Esports in the last chance. Now, we are going to be heading into Erindale to see where that zone is going to be popping, as we will be starting on that southern side, heading over towards the west. And again, a slightly more cut off flight path, but it would still allow somewhat of a drop down onto this map.
I mean, at this point, judging from the plane line, okay, the south side, the western side, it's accessible. The northern school, Rose Rock, Yuzna, Poliana, they're not going to be accessible for the teams at this point. But so is the teams that are dropping. That's the question. Are they going to go for that push drop, the aggressive drops, or they're going to take the cars, try to find some vehicles, get out of there, get into their own drop-off locations like Rozog, the schools, the Yuzna, Poliana. Fourth Thrives, they're going close to the military base bridge. But wait a second. Oh my God. Circle going all the way to the top. Even almost 30% being in the water. That's already a very hectic circle for all of these teams at this point. Point Donkeys going to the Primox, Champions splitting drop into the quarry region and outskirts of the quarry region to the western area. There's the Sem9 into the quarry as well, right close to the area side of the Champions, so the fight can definitely occur. There is also Nexori close into the proximity of the hospital apartments, where they are getting collaborated with another team, and they are getting that knockdowns done on them.
Yep, that's what we love to see, teams getting right down to business. So let's see who's going to need the hospital and who will be the ones holding onto it, at least for the time being. Nexori going to look to try and bounce back. Already 2 players down for them. Arena, though, going all the way to town, as Lucky is super unlucky, and, well, the whole of Nexori are going to be unlucky this time around, as they will get stopped in their tracks. They've got 3 points in the previous match. This time, they get none. Now, it is going to be the players here from Fourth Thrive moving on forward. A1 also just going to be keeping their eyes and their ears open, but I think a nice drop here for A1. Nice bit of a spread, quite uncontested, so they don't have to stress too much about a random team rolling up on them. But we did see a few other teams also moving into the same area here. We did have Kinotrope. We also had Celcom Digi Alliance. So there is going to be a little bit of tension, a little bit of pressure in the surrounding area. Talon also, I think, maybe might have gone for a little bit more of a northern positioning here. So you can't get too comfortable just yet.
I mean, yeah, that is absolutely true. You cannot get comfortable at this point in time, at this point in game. Yes, this is just the start for the game number 2, but you're also being one of the few teams that might not be getting a point in this game, because if you're not cautious, it's definitely come to bite you up. Boom Esports, the last match, they did really good, 16 points, some 9. They also did really good. Even right now in this match, they secured that one elimination. The champions on our screen, close to proximity of the A1 Esports. The shots are going, but no connection. Every single connection was on the car, and now Finale finally is going to get into the car. He's going to move out of here and away from the sights of A1 Esports, because if they don't, there's the teams that know exactly where the opponents are, their opponents are, and they will definitely shoot at you, and they will definitely try, in fact, to get you down as well. But champions, hovercraft, meaning this team not only went to the shorelines, grabbed a hovercraft, and now came straight up near the circle area, the circle entry, and they're going to definitely enter it up, but still, A1 is right in front of them.
Well, it is going to cause a little bit of a hunt. Let's see just how far they'll be able to get themselves. But in the meanwhile, Kinotrope, nice little bit of a rotation here, right? Utilizing that hovercraft, looking to see where they can go and how they can go about it. So far, relatively uncontested as they start creeping up on Heaven here. Curious whether or not they're actually going to look to take occupancy or maybe continue to push a little bit further on. It does seem like they are going to be heading right up into maybe Yasnaya Polyana. It is a very centered up position, so it would make sense. But we'll see if they do decide to go there. In the meanwhile, it's going to be Champions and Sem9 now finding themselves in a bit of a standoff potential here.
I mean, it's a standoff, yes, that is for sure. But the team that got the winner chicken dinner into the previous match, the Sem9, they not only just got a single elimination, even in this match, they are ready to take that action. E-Arena is also one of the teams that actually took down a whole full squad in front of them at one point in time. That was Nexori. But still, they need to do something to get something done. But so far, it is Champions close to Sem9. The shots are there. The location has been given. But Yumeko, get away from the team. And you need to get back together. Staying this far away from your own team members. Yes, it might work. It might not. But at this point, you have to make sure that you're together till the very end with your team. But oh my, no. Yuhai close to these Xaviers. And another one, Sem9, for some reason, they're kind of scattered, DK. At this point, I'd say being scattered is not the play to go. Yes, you have your different cars, you have your different vantage points that you have to use to get into a safer side angle. But getting away from that vantage point and the rotation, that's not the thing to do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you don't want to give it up unnecessarily. So in the meanwhile, it is going to be Fourth Thrives now also venturing a little bit further up to the north here as they are heading in the direction of Rozhok. Curious if they are going to be bumping into someone. The answer is yes. It is going to be Celcom Digi Alliance holding up right here alongside them. And of course, Fourth Thrives, they cannot let any opportunity slide, as they will look to get right down to business quickly, starting with a bit of a push, looking to apply themselves. You can see Tryout just ahead of them. Ooh, but this is where Fourth Thrives need to bring in the reinforcements, right? They're going to have to double down on the efforts, because so far they've only been able to identify at least 2 players from Alliance. And of course, the third that we have right there could definitely play quite a bit of a surprise, but it does seem like Fourth Thrives have a pretty good read on the situation, good angles. They are going to be looking to just poke and prod their way on through. Kasim, quite mobile downstairs, making too much noise, is going to pull 224 right to your doorstep. A tryout knows exactly what to do, keeps nice and quiet, stays low, trying to make absolutely zero noise at this point. And I mean, this could be a turning point for both squads. There we go. They do start the fight as the opening shots have been secured. This is going to be that full send now heading right in the direction of tryout. Kasim could also be receiving a little bit of opposition. Noki is going to be knocked on down. Let's see whether or not Alliance are going to look to retaliate, or will they for now just keep their distance? Tryout quickly just ducking out the window, trying to fall back into a little bit more of a secure position, but it is not going to matter. As you can see, T24 and the rest of Fourth Thrives absolutely on point with how they take this approach, just rushing in and clearing it up.
But still, Fourth Thrives, the team. This is not looking good for these guys at this point. One player being down. Yeah, they managed to secure 2 of those eliminations, 3 of those eliminations in total. If they're lucky, if my eyes don't deceive me, I think that's yes, 3 eliminations. Yes, for sure, that's 3. And not only that, they're kind of into the safe side for now. But that fire that they just took out with a different team, the aggression, it has given out their locations to some of the different teams as well. But A7, DRX, wait a minute. The fight's happening back and forth. Alpha 7 receiving a lot of damage as a second one of their player gets knocked down. DRX this is the first time their player is going to get taken down, so there's still a lot of opportunity for them to take it up. And there we go, another one down. Mafioso, he's the guy that's been knocked out. Confirmation will come into the play, and meaning Alpha 7 down to the very last guy, Carrillo. It's everything residing on him, and he's completely into the open. Backside, there's E-Arena. He's been contested from both sides. If you move forward, there's DRX. He goes back. There's E-Arena waiting for them, and those constant shots that are coming around, it's also happening, but Carrillo is going to get one player down with the one of the most, I'd say, a hard controlling gun. He got the knockdown from that, but E-Arena's Tourniquet comes into the play. And I think DRX might just survive because of this unwanted help from E-Arena into the back lines. So we do have to see what E-Arena is going to be doing from this point onward. But Tourniquet, he did a lot of damage. There's the third party. There's the fourth party, in fact, if I have to say. That is ASI-8 to the back lines as well.
Yeah, Crypto just dealing a quick little bit of damage into the side here of Tourniquet. So there is a beautiful chain fight now happening. We saw as the teams continue to try and get themselves situated, moving further and further afield. I'm not quite sure how E-Arena is going to bring back their third players. Joker is going to slowly bleed out unless that res can be secured. 8 eliminations to their name, though, is going to be a very healthy point to stand at for the time being. Now, Fourth Thrive starting to move into the area as well, and it is absolute chaos ensuing. Beautiful connection being made here by Tourniquet, turning the tables onto the side now of Fourth Thrives. Will they be able to respond? Will we see that closure coming in here as T24 is just going to be hovering on the edge, looking for a bit of that opportunity to assist their teammate? Tourniquet says no, moves in for the finish, dips in the vehicle, and gets the heck out of dodge.
I mean, it's back and forth going on. Sem9, they're receiving the damage. E-Arena also closing on into the area, and they have the entry of the circle. They have the entry of the circle, and they're definitely going to deny the rest of the players to enter inside that circle. Booming Sports close to Sem9. The grenades, utilities, come on, this is the time. Yummy Johan throwing the smokes, but not the grenades. Finally, he has a grenade in hand. Will it connect? This is the main question, because in this area, if one grenade connects, if it gets a knockdown, that which it does by Ponbet's grenade, it's going to be detrimental for all of the Sem9s this player. Yes, you got that revival done, but now you have another one to revive from this point onward. Yummy Johan closes in, finds the player, gets the location, comes back, maybe another grenade will come into the play, but nope. I'm seeing Mastery into the area with the cars as well, trying to find out where the enemies are. Yummy Johan finally going into the back, maybe just getting out of here. This is the time. Team Boom Esports have decided that, okay, they do not want to take the fight any further. They don't want to drag it up. They're just going to get in the circle and in a safe side location, but this could have been an easy 3 eliminations, if I have to say, for Boom Esports if they have just taken that leap of faith.
Yep, they definitely could have done quite a bit with that position. Now it's going to be up to 4th to see if they can do the job instead. But the answer is no. As 7-9 sends them backing out. They go in 11th place. 5 eliminations to their name. Absolute skill going through here from 7-9. Fire just locking it in. Now it's going to be E Arena circling back, looking to see if they can maybe find a little bit of contingency here. They know that shots have been fired. Are they going to be able to get that third-party steal here as they're riding the ridge? But Firein quick with the reaction, moving up on the hill, moving right alongside Joker to see if they can get the overwatch. This could be that turning point now where Sem9 could lock in even more. Yumiko is going to get down, so things are starting to go ever so slightly downhill for them, as Firein is going to look to play for survivability now, just getting out of that pressure situation, looking to put a lot of distance between themselves and that push coming through from E Arena. But unfortunately for Sem9, they are going to be losing 2 of their players. Firein is going to look to rotate now in the direction of Yasnaya Poliana, but we did see the players there from Selcom Digi Alliance just waiting on the front line. So not going to be too much of an easy rotation, or rather not Selcom. It was the players from Talon that we have waiting in the wing. The pressure still absolutely building and building as we push further and further through. We're about to hit stage number 4 and we have 10 teams remaining.
That's a huge number going on for all of this lobby, judging from the fact on how everyone is on the aggressive side, how everybody's on the edge, but the circle, oh my god, it's going to favor everyone going into the city of Yasnaya Poliana and the northern angle, that mountain ridges. Oh my god, it has came to outplay. These Aviators, they don't have to move. Talon, they don't have to move. Boom Esports, they're just chill out there. A1, they also have a good, decent position for themselves. But Boom Esports, I'm looking at them into the mini screen. They're getting that fight with the Wine Donkeys. The Kinotrope, in fact, is getting that fight with the Wine Donkeys. But Boom Esports versus ASI8, it's happening. Boom Esports also looking at the arena, closing in into the area. The shots are there, but Zero misses every single one of them. And all up to Zero, the last guy of the team Boom Esports, do something from this point onward. There goes the flashbang. The player was flashed, but he entered with the S12K. He managed to get that elimination. And on the number 10, Boom Esports, it's out of the game. We are now down to 9 teams. But wait a minute. Hold on. DK, I just realized. Just look at the eliminations of E Arena.
They're going crazy, right? They are farming like it's no one's business. Absolutely just securing all the plays and sprays that they can find. But are they going to be able to maintain that consistency all the way through to the very, very finish? So far, a really good approach onto the side here of ASI8. The utilities, the grenades, doing quite a bit of damage here, really hampering the advances here for ASI8 as they now come through with a bit of a push. Solo left. It's not going to be an easy angle to push off of, as ASI8 still has that full squad crypto with the off angles overwatch. But will this be the clutch play now for NC2? Just to move in. Oh, misses the first shot. Lands the second. Going through for a quick bit of a finish. Now, will they get rushed? Oh, just dancing around the room. After one outside, finds a beautiful hit. Now, going to try and finish it all.
Oh my god.
Number 3, but still going to watch out for Crypto on that off angle, the jump shot. Now starting to line themselves up. Quick finishing play coming in there. NC2 now securing just another additional point, and there's that. It is a squad wipe. ASI8 go down to a shotgun.
No way! That's a 1v for NC2. Oh my goodness! Another one, another clutch came into the play, but not for long, as Arena finally, after 17 elimination, not a small number, 17 elimination, they finally get eliminated by the hand of the Xaviers. That's the first elimination that they're gonna have, and they just took it on the guy, on the team that had the highest elimination number into the lobby. But top 6 it is, ladies and gentlemen. From this point onward, it is Voin Donkeys, 4-man, Talon, 4-man for the A1 and the Xaviers. But Trope, Champions, these are the 2 names with the trio into the play. And because of that, we still have 22 players into the game for this top 6. On the front line, you can see the D Xaviers getting those shots with the Voin Donkeys. Gaycore is into the location where he's getting a lot of damage. He just got on damage. Now he has been spotted. The rest of the teams of the Voin Donkeys, they're also going to be spotted. The shots are there, but not enough. Just barely not enough to get those knockouts done. But they also have to move in the circle. They have to climb up into the safe side as the circle has actually shifted into the city of Poliana.
So we are going to be looking at that finish, that city finish. I don't know. I don't know where I was going with Cine, but hey, we'll take a city instead, as it is going to be Voin Donkey. Now just locking down that coastline. Not quite sure how Kinotrope are going to be able to get themselves into that final positioning. The blue is going to start nipping at their heels very shortly. And of course, this being stage number 5, the blue zone damage is going to be immense. So not quite sure what options Finale has available to them. Try for a bit of a swim. Not going to be an easy one. Just dipping under that water to try and get themselves a little bit closer to the shoreline. Going to opt for a bit of an Aquaman approach. Just riding on the ridge. Don't want to get spotted out just yet. They do spot Maki off in the distance. But now it's going to be the side here of Voin Donkey and D Xavier. Potentially cooking up a bit of a storm between the 2 of them, but both squads essentially still have to solidify their position in the zone. D Xavier, they do have the advantage, but what is Voin Donkey going to do?
Voin Donkey, they have to stop the entry of these guys. But Voin Donkeys are finally first going to take down the players of Kinotrope, making it a top 5 from this point onward. D Xaviers, 1 elimination, 4-man. On the front line, there is the Voin Donkeys, outskirts of this area, cooking a grenade, throwing it up into the compound. It's going to hit. It's going to do some damage, but not enough for the knockouts. But I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 on the top of the compound. It's going to throw a grenade, which is going to hit Ryzek right there. And Machi with the smoke cloud, he's trying to get those smokes deployed upon on the players. Gaycore in the back lines, making sure that he can provide a cover from a different angle, from a different approach towards the players. Potato in the back lines as well. Nobody's going to be entering, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, you have to just detour your grenade a slight bit towards the ridge side where it might not go into the water, but on the players straight up, and you can get 2 eliminations back to back. But Potato finally moving forward, getting a lot of damage, going back into the safe side. And I just love the fact that only these 2 teams are taking the fight with the grenades and everything. The rest of the parties, the rest of the teams that are in the city, they're just chill out. They're just waiting for the circle to actually take over them, and then they're gonna try to take the fights or take the locations for themselves.
Yeah, I think they just big chillin' over there saying, you know what, it's fine. We're not going to intervene. We'll just wait for you to kind of wrap that fight up before we take the party to the next level. But now it's going to be Voin Donkey still aggressing onto D Xavier. A very admirable approach coming through from both sides. Voin Donkey looking for the opportunity. Got to watch out for those nades, though, as it does pick up 2 of their players. Now it's going to be up to Potato and Geico to see if they can clutch it up. Potato, I think, in a beautiful position here. D Xavier not quite aware of their whereabouts, but now comes the play, the push. It is going to be a slow animation to get up from the ground, but it doesn't bother as the S12K makes the necessary connections. And this is now where the situation starts to turn around. Voin Donkey going to leave their player to instead focus on the fight. Because with no players up, there's no fighting left. Here we go. The shots starting to fly all over the place. Voin Donkey just picking them off, but essentially getting picked off themselves. Absolute clutch coming through here from Nade.
Oh my god, it's a clutch with the grenade. 5 eliminations, but these Xaviers, oh my god, they're just barely surviving at this point. They're gonna get that revive, yes. State number 6 starting to close on. 3 minutes more, 2.5 minutes more, in fact, for this stage to actually close up. But look at the city, south side. in fact, the western side at the very center of the city, and on the eastern side, everybody is there. These top 3 teams, in fact, has the whole city for themselves. But these Xaviers, as they have made sure that every single one of their players back onto their feet, they're going to get into their cars, they're going to drive straight up into the city without even looking back, without even looking anywhere on any of those windows to try and hope to actually slam into one of the safe side location, where they will start to go on foot. They will start to climb up the rest of the areas on foot to make sure that they're not spotted by the enemy teams. In fact, Talon Esports, they're still in this location. Axel, the 4 compounds, the 4 basic compounds where you usually drop off into the Yasna Poliana, they have that full control of those compounds. And Talon Esports even have the rest of the areas location for themselves as well. As all of the eastern and north side till up to the very centralized position, it's all for Talon. The rest, the south side, it's all for the champions. But A1 Esports, they have the western side complete control for them, whether it's the station, whether it's any of those different compound areas near the station side, it's all the full control for that team. But these Xaviers, I want to see how they cement themselves into the Yasna Poliana amongst these rest of the 3 teams.
I can tell you it's not going to be easy, right? There's not a lot of options for them to try and take any occupancy of. As we do now look over on towards champions. Atomic just riding the ridge here of the building. Oh, but you got to watch out for those nades. Once the broom starts, that is going to be go time. It's going to be Balia getting taken on down. Now, the Xavier cooking up even more of a storm, getting ready for the push. The mollies come into play. Atomic dipping right into the flames here. Going to try and heal themselves up. Kino in a position where they can do nothing but look as their team now looks to bounce back. One beautiful shot being connected on through there. Let's see if Atomic can come in clutch. The answer is the yes. S12K for the win. 2 players here from the Xavier getting downed. The rest of the team now from the Xavier deciding whether or not it's going to be worth the hassle to try and avenge their teammates. Atomic weighing up the options here. 3-piece is going to be a little bit better to try and fight with. We're going to try and just tank those utilities as the grenades continue to just poke away and eat away at the health bar. But the Xavier also going to go in for the res.
No way! He just left that revive in a very last second, but finally getting that revival done. Atomic and alongside of Balja back together, a duo together for some reason. I don't know if that's going to be a good thing or a bad thing, because if a single grenade would have landed there, it would have been an instant obliteration of both of these guys in a single moment. But Atomic now moving forward, they're getting onto the ridge, climbing it up. The grenades are going to make sure that the players are not there into the proximity, and he can easily interrupt the location. There's Kino on the side taking the fight against Talon Esports, but the Xavier's taking one player of the champion. Second one of the champion is also down. It's all up to Balja, the solo guy, the one and only hope for the whole team. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's eliminated by the grenade. Atomic is there, and he also gets a finisher. But Balja cooking the grenade, throwing it up. Will it connect? The answer is slightly a yes, but to a no on the knockout side. So Balja, the last 2 grenades that you have at your disposal, at your arsenal, you have to be very careful of that. You're the only hope for the whole team. The rest of the players, like D Xaviers, they're 3. Talon is a 4-man. A1 Esports, they're just chilling straight up. Still at the station side, the northern side, the angles, the 6 big compounds, they have that control. But Balja, you're the only hope for the team, and you're just chilling out here. Somewhat in the circle, I do believe so. Yes, he is in the circle. There's still no meters of the distance to get into the safe zone area, but circle's closing on. Everybody needs to be in a panic mode from this point onward, because it's 12 teams, and this small of a radius only means one thing. You make one wrong step, one wrong entry on any one of these compounds, and you can instantly be decimated from that point onward.
I mean, 12 teams in this zone would be quite a lot, but yes, 4 teams are going to be looking to fight it out for the finish. It puts us on an average of about 3 players apiece, but of course, we can see the numbers up at the top of the screen there. Not quite sure if Balia is going to be able to get out of that sticky situation, though. In the meantime, A1 getting ready to just lay down their assault here, as D Xavier will have to move a little bit further forward as the zone takes a slight shift up into that northeastern side. Talon now getting into position here, also looking to leverage the slight bit of an advantage they have over onto D Xavier, but that smoke road going a long, long way as numbers now make it up into safety, securely in towards that zone. Talon did get a knock coming in their direction. Let's see if they are going to be able to get themselves patched up and ready for the fight. 4-player squad still available here for them to try and utilize. But A1 surprisingly very quiet over on that eastern front.
I mean, I love that. It's the calm before the storm. They're just assessing the situation that, okay, you can take the fight. You can take those points for yourself, but we are aiming for that winner chicken dinner. We're aiming for those 10 placement points whatsoever. But D Xavier so far into the squad house that they go. Pubg into the front lines, throwing the grenade, getting a slight bit of damage, but Nate team to the front lines with the DVS in hand. Finally, he's going to go into the play. Flash from the backside. In fact, A1 Esports is going to take the last player of Champions Esports out. So it's top 3 versus 4 versus 4. A1 Esports, that's the second elimination that they're going to have. Talon Esports into the clothesline vicinity. Now they have been known for the location of the Xaviers, the grenades, the Molotovs, the flashes. Everything is coming up. DB 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. He's outskirts. He's outside of the compound. He's not in. He's not staying in the compound because he knows that everyone is gonna try to look for the corners of the compound. So why not stay outside? Make them like not look at you. And when the iron's hot, they're just gonna strike it up. But Talent and a Cull. Let's see. DBS, a lot of damage has been done upon on D Xavier's players, but not enough still to get those eliminations, to get those knocks even started. It's going to be a chain reaction from this point onward. Even a single player that's going to get a knockdown, the rest of the chain reaction is going to start. A1 there, Rowdy with the getting shield down. Kogi is also going to be taken down. Axel, the one and only hope for the team at Talon Esports at this point, is going to enter. He's going to get shotted from the backside of A1 Esports, and right with this, the player DX came on the rooftop of the house, instantly get decimated by A1 Esports as well. It's a winner chicken dinner for A1 Esports, ladies and gentlemen, and with a single blink of an eye, those were 2 different teams, 2 different locations that instantly got finished off. And in the very end, A1 Esports and they're holding off the locations, not taking any unnecessary fight, paid off.
I mean, you said strike while the iron is hot. I think they made a whole new entire iron for themselves there. But yeah, big shout out going out to A1 coming in absolute clutch in this match. Talk about waiting for the opportune moment, right? They showcased exactly that. So big congratulations going out here to them. And of course, it's great to see them now rising to the occasion. But they've been dormant. They've been quiet, just patiently waiting to see when will be that exact opportunity, when it will present themselves. And boy, oh boy, did they do a great one right here. But yeah, there we have it. Match number 2, done and dusted. We got to take a look and see what that match rankings looks like. But we saw from A Arena, rather, a beautiful performance, right? 17 eliminations coming in from their end. Definitely setting the bar quite high for what we are to see on the rest of the day. But A1 Esports getting those very crucial points secured now.
I mean, that's some crucial points that they're going to have. A great start for the A1 at the very least. Just a single day. You only have a single day, and you need to get as many winner chicken dinners as you can possibly can. They know. A1 knew this, and that's exactly why they were like, okay, not taking any unnecessary fights. Let's aim for the winner chicken dinner. But Arena's Turney K, 8 elimination to this individual guy. We saw 16, 17 elimination for the whole team, and out of those, 8 eliminations are just for this single individual player. 894 of a damage, 15 minutes and 22 seconds of the survival time. He's the MVP for the match number 2 of the last chance survival arena, Ernie K. But the rest of the teams, meaning got 50, almost 60% of the contribution, whereas he himself got 40, in fact 50, 45% of the contribution all by himself. And look at that, 18 total points. 17 out of which are just with those eliminations. A1, winner, chicken dinner, 6 elimination, 16 total points. D Xavier, 8 elimination, 6 placement, 14 total points. 9 total points for the Talon. Wine Donkeys with the 6 points, 5 for Champions alongside of 4 Thrive. Sem 9 with the 4, Kino 12, 3 alongside of ASI 8 with the 3 as well. DRX, Alpha 7, 2 points each. Boomy Sports with the 1, but Celcom and Nexori getting a donut.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, but hey, it happens. But I mean, what an impressive showing this was. The Xavier, like the fact that they decided to also then step up to the plate coming into this game. If you remember the previous match, they were the team to sit with not a single point secured. But here we go. It is going to be the overall standings. These are our current top 9 teams. This is where you want to finish come end of day today. You want to be on this page, the first page, the big one, where it's all going to be focused on here today. As we know, the teams are going to look to grind as much as they can to secure their positions on this slot right here.
This is the overall 19 points. But E Arena, oh my goodness, with just that previous match, they got the second position for themselves as well. But Champions, Celcom, 4 Thrive, CRX, Kinotrope, Nexori, they're going to lose so much of those placement points for themselves. And they're going to be on the page at number 2. 10 for Champions, 11 placement for Celcom, 4 Thrives on 12, VRX on 13, 14 on Kinotrope, and 15 for Nexori. But Z plus Kia, Alpha Gaming, Nomching Red Force, they haven't even played a single game today. And that instantly mean one thing, DK, that this is one of the few teams. These are the 3 names that is absolutely may not go into the grand finals.
Yep, unless they change something quite drastically, it is going to be really, really tough to contest with the rest of this lobby. But of course, our 2 teams that have taken those winner chicken dinners, there we can see them. Of course, it is Sem 9 and A1 currently occupying the slots up into the top 3. But so E Arena, with that insane performance that we just witnessed from them, actually jumped up 12 slots, right? 12 positions in one single game. A1 also then leaping up 10 slots right into that 3rd place. So it just shows that if a team decides it is now, it starts to happen. The Xavier also with a beautiful 9 slot jump there. So I'm curious as to who's going to be the next team to bring in such a devastating blow to these overall standings, because I mean, it just keeps on going.
I mean, it definitely keeps on going. Every single match is crucial for the team, and every single match is very important. But right now, ladies and gentlemen, we are done and dusted with the 2 matches, the Miramar, the Erangel. It's done. We're going to go on to the second set of the Miramars and the Erangels after this highlighted short break. So enjoy that while we take a short water break.
ladies and gentlemen, we're getting ready to move into game number next. Of course, already quite a bit of action has unfolded already, as we've seen now. The past game absolutely livid with action. It has just gone all over the place, and a beautiful victory coming through from the side there of A1, reigning supreme, showcasing that if you wait a little bit, right, you're just a little bit patient, you could get your hands on a glorious winner chicken dinner. And they did so with a decent serving of points as well. But of course, that means game number 2 is now done and dusted. We have 4 more to go. So we are going to be hitting in, as you said, our next pairing of a little bit of Miramar and Erangel. So curious to see what the teams are going to be looking to bring on through. Are they going to try and take the aggression to another level? Will they try to respond and maybe rectify a few of the mistakes that they might have made in the first 2 games? Or are they just going to go to town and see how aggressive they can be, Hitorix?
Yeah, we do have to see how aggressive are they going to get and how aggressive will they be going on from that point onward, because it is almost a halfway done. Half day is going to be done after this Miramar match that is about to commence. And judging from the fact on how the teams have been playing, the first match was completely aggressive. The second match was somewhat into a, I'd say, medium-paced match where Erangel was at the start somewhat on an aggression. Middle phase, it was complete stalemate. End moments, everybody was waiting for the other teams to make a mistake at that point. So those were the phases that was going on. But now, it's another Miramar. It's another Miramar that's going to commence. And once again, it will be heavily determined on where the plane line is first and foremost going to go, how the circle is going to be formed up, and how many of the teams will decide on top of that to actually contest the other teams that may be on the top, that may be doing really good to bring them down.
And I mean, looking at the entry into top 9, it's only 12 points, right? So it's 12 points for 8th and 9th place. So Voin Donkey as well as Alpha 7 are going to be hoping that they can pack in a few additional points moving through this coming game, because if they don't, there's a golden opportunity for a team like Full Thrives, DRX, Kinotrope, Nexury, or even Champions Esports to take it that extra step further. And I mean, if we see D Plus Kia, Alpha Gaming, or Red Force joining us in this next game, all they need to get is a winner chicken dinner and 2 eliminations, or however they want to get to 12 or 13 points. That's it, right? That will place them right up in the qualifying slot. So the pressure is going to be pretty high, especially looking at the teams within the top 9 defending their positions for the time being.
I mean, at this point, it's more about like defending your throne on the top side with those crucial points that you can that will possibly actually accumulate to help you stay into that same phase of action. So the top 9 is the threshold that the points have. You have to make sure that you're actually gaining all of those points for yourself from that point onward. There is no way, there is no hope whatsoever on that particular factor, on that X factor thingy, that you make a mistake and it actually works out for you. Yes, there's a slight chance that it may, but majority of the way, it's not going to help you. It's actually going to hinder your performance, and you might lose your even chance. You might lose even your entry of getting into that grand finals because of that. One small mistake is all it's going to take for the teams to lose everything, every chance that they have of going into the grand finals.
It's quite stressful, right? One mistake could cost you quite a bit at this point, and especially looking at the pacing and the aggression that these teams are bringing forward, you can't really afford to be making any mistakes whatsoever. So, yeah, I think the closer we get to this third game and moving up into that fourth game, that is going to be the big decider, the big convincer as to who will be the teams that have a really high chance of staying or qualifying for that top 9. For the time being, it is still pretty much anyone's game, right? Because the top of the leaderboard is 19 points. It's not an impossibility for any of the teams on the second page to secure that many points in one game. So the pressure is going to be pretty high, looking to see if the teams can do what needs to be done here.
I mean, whatever needs to be done, like how even like one of the teams actually played it up with 17 of those elimination points. It's definitely possible of going completely haywire on that aggression, on that full throttle. That was the only team that was completely going haywire. I think it was the Xaviers, if I'm correct. No, yeah,
Mm.
I'm not
Yeah.
sure. I think it was the Xaviers with those 17 elimination points. But if
Mm.
they had secured some more placements, oh my God, that's 20 plus points. So with just on the aggressive stances, 17 of those eliminations, 5 or 6 of those placements would have been enough to secure them into the very top of the leaderboard. But the momentum that they have gained, the confidence that they have gained after this single individual match of the aggression, it's definitely going to help them even for this match to push through, to maybe go for that aggressive stance once again for all of these other teams. And that has actually put a lot of pressures on the other teams as well, after seeing the leaderboard on how many eliminations that this single individual team has secured for themselves into the previous match. They're definitely going to be getting pressured as soon as they're going to see, okay, this is the D Xavier that is in front of us. They have the potential, they have that aggression to take us down as well.
Yeah, D Xavier was one of those teams that jumped up a lot, coming through with 8 eliminations total. But the team that got the 17, that was E Arena in the past match that we just watched. But either which way, I mean, if it's E Arena or D Xavier, we've been seeing quite a bit of an upward trend coming through from both those squads. So I'm also happy to see that A1 Esports brought a lot of that pressure in onto this past match as well. It was about time that we see what performance they are looking to bring into our matches at hand. But yep, so far it's all going to boil down to what the teams decide moving into this next game, right? It's very difficult to predict what these teams are going to be doing, because at any point they can decide to do things in a completely different way. And I think that speaks to the capability of these squads, right? So that they are just so capable of changing things, changing that mentality. And we've seen that essentially happening over the previous 3 days. And it is still pretty evident moving into today's games. They come in, they go like, you know what? Let's go get aggressive. They go out and they just rip that lobby to pieces.
Oh, yeah. That is absolutely true. That is absolutely true. And that should have been the mentality for all of these teams from this point onward. This should be the mentality. In fact, because we want to see the destruction as well. As much as we do, the teams have to secure those crucial points. And they can only secure them right now with those aggressive stances. If they're not aggressive, if they're not on the full throttle of their game, there are definitely going to be those pressure points that will make them make the mistakes that they shouldn't have. And that's actually going to change majority of the things for them. The momentum could have changed because of that. One player gets eliminated, that will put the pressure. More players and more players are going to get taken down because of that, maybe into the late rotation wise. You do a late rotation, you're going to be pressurized. You lose a player, that's a pressure point for you guys. You don't find a car in the Miramar, that's another pressure point for the team. So there's so many pressure points that at this point, I'd say being aggressive and taking a hard drop with another team in a city where you know for a sure that you're going to find vehicles, the transportation, that's the only way to go at this point.
Yeah, it's going to be one of those, it's going to be the name of the game, right? You've got to do what is needed here. And so, as you said, if you need those vehicles to get to where you need to go, you better grab them. That's something that I still struggle with, right? I don't do vehicles all that much. I prefer to run. But again, there's a reason why I'm sitting here and I'm not out on the battlefield playing against these teams. So yeah, I'm curious as to what Erangel is going to bring on next, right? Because we've seen quite a few teams actually in the previous few days securing themselves some glorious winner chicken dinners. I wonder if we are going to be maybe looking at some of that yet again, right? If we take a look back at what we had, for instance, just coming into the last match, Alpha 7, right? All the way back in the second or the last Murmur that we had in day 3 yesterday, came through with a glorious winner chicken dinner, of course, doing so with those 5 eliminations up as well. So they've all shown that they can do what is needed here. And I hope they decide that this Erangel is going to be the match in which they choose to step up. And of course, looking at Alpha 7, they're one of those teams that are sitting as the guardians of the top 9. 12 points to their name. And if they play a strong match and they secure a bucket load of points, I mean, they could then relieve themselves of that responsibility and move up to a higher spot in that leaderboard.
I mean, yeah, they have to be on to the highest part of the leaderboard. But it's only one day. I'm so confused on this, that there's only one day for the teams, and the amount of aggression that they are doing, yes, it's good, it's amazing, but every single team needs to perform something to make the lobby more interesting, to make the fights more interesting. We need to see every single one of these teams perform. I love the way that i8 is actually performing in today's matches. The first one, they got into the top 2. The second one, they actually managed to did secure some of the decent number of points for themselves. E-Arena, yes, they were also doing some decent performances into the match number 1 and into the match number 2, but these Xaviers, match number 1, they didn't do anything. Match number 2, same thing, but on the opposite side. The way that they were not doing anything on the match number 1, they did everything on the match number 2 from the transition point. They had 17 eliminations. Yes, they did got early eliminated. That's one thing. But I think the amount of elimination that they had on them justifies even that early elimination. They did got 1 placement points. Same with the rest of the teams. Like Sem9, take Sem9 for example. The first match was good for them. Sem9 did really took off into the match number 1. But there was also the crucial factors of, I'd say, A1s or E-Arena or D-Xaviers that actually kind of like played it off. E-Arena, Sem9, yes, in overall ranking, they are on the same points. It's just a matter of factor of the winner chicken dinner that's making the huge difference right there. A1 also is consistent. Boom Esports, ASI8, they're also consistent, but the second chart teams, the teams that are on the page number 2, like 4 Thrives, DRX, Cellcom Digi Alliance, I've seen them. Cellcom Digi Alliance, not only into the Miramar match that we saw at the very start, they took a hot drop there. Wrangle match, they also took another hot drop into the location. There was a team close to their proximity. So every single time, Cellcom Digi Alliance is kind of getting into the fights, but they're not making those fights into their own favors.
Yeah, it's almost like they're serving themselves up on a platter and say like, "Hey, here we are. We're not going to be too easy to swallow, but eventually you'll get us down." So, I agree with you. I want to see a little bit more of a contention coming through from the team situated over on towards the second page. Champions Esports, though, I like what they've been bringing to the table. Right, not necessarily the most impressive performance that we've seen from them, but it's there, right? They're getting into the flow, getting into the rhythm. So it's all going to boil down to the remaining few games to see whether or not they can actually take it all the way to the bank, right? Get in onto those 9 eliminations and then see where the next stage will be taking them if they decide that they want to go for that top 9. And I think that's the scary part here, is that any of these teams can decide that now is going to be go time.
I mean, yeah, this is the go time, and you have to throttle up your momentum from this point, because if you don't, I'm looking at this. 2 matches done and dusted, 4 more to go. We're basically kind of like into somewhat the threshold of the markers where you're gonna have 2 Wrangles, 2 Miramars to wrap up your performances, wrap up every aggression that you can possibly have for yourself. But here we go, ladies and gentlemen, we are in the game, in fact, and already there's so much of the fights that has happened. DRX, 4 Thrives, Telcom Digi Alliance, even Talon, they have been eliminated.
Everybody's gone. Where'd they go?
God.
I mean, next week got 4 eliminations up. Alpha 7 sitting on 6. Xavier ASI 8 sitting on 4 apiece. Even the players there from Champions also coming through with 4 points on their end. But now we can see how the standings are shifting, how they are changing. Talon coming into this match with 13 points to their name. Now, is that going to be enough, right? They win 7th place, but now the pressure starting to mount. Not quite sure if they are going to be able to hold on. Sem9, the team currently occupying the top of the leaderboard, is getting so much pressure being applied onto them here from ASI 8.
That was a 1 versus 2 with a single spray, 30, 40 bullets of the M416, and it's amazing. Sim9, they did good, but right now they're struggling so much. Oh, if they get eliminated, that's an easy entryway point for the E Arena to secure that #1 position for themselves. But ASI8 so far, Casanova, he is also struggling to go forward. Sem9, the solo guy, and close to the area, you can see there's Nexori's players as well, fully scattered. And even on the right side of this Los Leones' outskirts, there's more than these three teams. These three teams like Nexori, Sem9, and ASI, there's also more and more different teams. Alpha 7, A1, they're getting into that fight. Nexori versus Sem9, the last guy firing. They're going head-to-head in a tussle. The smokes, the shots are coming up. The grenade is approaching Firen as well. He needs to get out of there as soon as possible. But there's a car, his own team member's car, blocking the way. No way. Firen, you cannot go out of this area unscathed. If you have to take that detour straight up from the faces of Nexori's players, and that's definitely going to affect you. That's definitely going to hit you hard. But 6 eliminations so far for ASI8. This is a good start for ASI8 as well.
Yeah, definitely is quite a good start. This is the kind of pacing that we want to see, and so many teams already sitting with those points on board, doing what they need to make sure that they can get in on top 9. Los Leones is going to be a hot and heated location for the time being. As you can see, Boom Esports making their way through, looking to maybe just reposition themselves a little bit more in towards that centralized region. We have, of course, shifted into stage number 4. And we are 20 seconds away from seeing where number 5 will be taking us. Alpha 7, I like that from them. Moving up onto the hills, looking for a bit of a vantage point down into the city itself.
This is the city that's going for the circle this time. Los Leones is going to be the contestation point. But so far, it is Boom Esports into the city. And they have like a decent, I'd say, position for themselves. Alpha 7 is also in a decent location, but kind of scattered. This is not good for Alpha 7 to be the scattered in this kind of a city. Yes, you have a lot of entry and exit points for yourself, but it also means that the other teams may also have the same advantage against you, the same entry and exit points that they can utilize to actually aggress on you. So far, Mafioso looking at the corners, looking at the mountaintops to try and find out the players, where they are. Nobody's being spotted. Nobody's being seen. Mafioso looking at Wine Donkeys. He's finding it up. Maybe he has spotted down the player because of the ridge glitch that we usually see on these kind of like high ridges mountain. You can see the players, but you cannot shoot at them. Maybe that's the reason he's still staying there. But on the other side, there's ASI8 coming in close to Alpha 7. Sem9 gets eliminated by Nexori, whereas ASI8 has taken down one of the player of the Alpha 7. That's a knockdown, not a confirmation yet, but ASI8, it all depends on how far you are from the team, that if they're going to be able to get that revival done, or you're going to be rushing on them and securing that elimination.
Well, now it is going to be a little bit of a waiting game here. See whether or not Balja can get that spray down in towards the Nexori. A lot of movement down below, but no clear angles aligning just yet. Gotta watch out for Apex as well, as we saw, especially coming through yesterday's games. Apex definitely going to bring in quite a bit of that pressure, but Demo now managing to evade that first initial nade. Not succeeding the way that Champion Esports would have wanted it to just yet. A very tricky angle to play off of here. I'm curious whether or not Balja is maybe going to try and reset, maybe move into a different location, but they don't want to lose that line of sight that they have down onto the edge, at least not for the time being. Meanwhile, Alpha 7 going to continue to advance further and further into the city. Keeping a very watchful eye on the hilltop. Don't want to get caught out in that rotation. Boom Esports also just there ahead of them. So multiple opportunities now could be available if Alpha 7 is able to really navigate and just kind of sneak their way through Los Leones.
This is one thing. But I don't think so. Anyone should be getting out of this Los Leones, but at the same time, it's 20 meters outside of the circle at this point. You have to enter the 20 minutes in, 20 meters, in fact, inside that circle. Joker on the top of this building so far. It's still being constructed. Alpha 7, Revo, there we go. Mafioso, as he gets knocked down, there also is a Revo down. Shots are coming. The player is getting that damage done on him, and right with this, it's a knockdown. It will be 2 casualties, maybe for Alpha 7, but I think it only is gonna change it to 1 as Alpha 7's player is right there for Mafioso. He's going to get that survival done. Revo gets finished off, and it's E-Arena. Once again, with 3 elimination, last match, they were the one responsible for the 17 elimination, but now it is Revo, again, E-Arena, 3 eliminations. Casanova, close to A7. Let's see if Casanova, with 40 bullets of the M4, is going to be able to achieve that. But look at the vest and helmet. Level 3 helmet, that's good. But level 1 West, he is not going to be able to tank those bullets if it comes down on his chest.
Beautiful spray coming through from Casanova. Jumping out the window. Hits into Carrillo now. Going in for that finisher. Closing it up. And this is Alpha 7 being put on quite a bit of a back foot already. 2 knocks, or 2 eliminations rather, on their side. So now been able to bounce back ever so slightly. But let's see whether or not ASI8 is going to look to go full force. They could lock it in, and that would put them on 9 eliminations if they get these sprays secured. Mafioso and Squash Brew, definitely 2 tough contenders coming in on that Alpha 7 side. Casanova quickly just retreating back up to the top, keeping themselves out of harm's reach. Not going to be looking to move through that danger zone just yet. But you can't run too far, right? Because you might avoid the team that you're trying to engage with right then and there, but you might at the same time unwillingly be rotating up yet into another squad.
Yeah, that is for sure. But Alpha 7, I just love this fact that previous match, it was his Poliana's city that was completely in the circle. This time, it's Los Leones, another city shift of the circle. It's definitely showing all of these teams, all of these players at this point that, okay, you need to make sure that you're a survivor, you're on the survival instinct, and you're making sure that every single angle of yours is completely into the safe side. You're not opening yourself to any of those locations that can potentially harm you or get you eliminated from the match. Nexori is one of the team that has this 5 elimination, but at the cost of one of their players. That is luck. The rest 3 players, they're closely entering the circle. They have the circle, in fact, for right now, but for how long? As 10 seconds more, and stage number 6 is going to be formed. Imagine going all the way hard northern side. Nobody's going to be into the city. Imagine going all the way up to the barren lands of the northern side areas, but nope, the circle is going to go back to the city. It is, and majority, almost we say 90% of the teams are still in the safe spot.
It's a pretty tough shift coming through onto the zone here. It is going to be a nice little bit of an urban play, as we are going to be seeing how these teams will look to get themselves situated and positioned, because again, moving into the city is not the easiest one. So many angles to be quite wary of, and you could get jumped from anywhere. But now it's going to be Voindongi taking up that northern occupancy. Potato, I like that setup that they've got. Still, Voindongi not really going to be getting themselves off of that elevated ground just yet, right? It does provide them with a bit of an advantage back into the city itself. But let's see whether or not Nexori can instead get themselves situated as they start to creep up the ridgeline. Still going to be very watchful there of Champions. Doesn't seem like Champions are too focused, for at least for the time being, on getting Nexori out of that position. Kindertrop, though, nice little bit of a quiet angle here. Samura, the only one left now for the squad.
He's the only guy alive. Squash Boo for Alpha 7. The only hope. He's going to throw the Molotov in one play. The grenade is going to come from the second one. He's going to throw everything at his arsenal to make sure that the player is not coming in on the first floor, in fact. towards his side, but one more grenade, 4 more Molotovs on the other contrary side. Okay, his grenade numbers are small, but he has a lot of Molotovs to accommodate for all those lost grenades. Wine Donkeys into the front lines. They are into the circle so far, but oh, wait a second, a grenade comes in from E Arena, a third party in the midst of all of this, and takes down Alpha 7 with them. Grenade that got the elimination on the Alpha 7 is going to go towards E Arena and Tourniquet. That's 3 eliminations back-to-back for the single individual player. ASI8 is also going to lose one of their players. The more players, Casanova, Zephyr. I don't know why he's still thrown down on those stairs, but for some reason he is. He don't want to give out the location to his position, in fact, to Wine Donkeys. And Wine Donkeys, they're definitely going to enter this location. Josefa is going to take down 1. Potato gets taken down as well. That's Josefa being the final hoe for the team against the team Wine Donkeys' players. Potato got instantly decimated right there. But Casanova, he needs to get that revival done. And I don't think so that's going to be possible anytime soon.
Interesting maneuvers coming through there from Voin. Also got to watch out for E Arena, who's now starting to mobilize as they do start to take their approach from that eastern side. Tony K already showing that he means business, coming through with some beautifully placed grenades. But now, where will this take us next? NC2 trying to get a bit of a lay of the land. Can see the smokes just pulling up ahead now. And Mormon going to be also just plunging on in here. They're going to try and surround the angle that we have for ASI8. Multiple opportunities now, just riding on the ridge lines as the zone does center up on itself. So it is going to pull all these squads a little bit further towards that northern side, but will allow for quite a bit of the fighting to continue. You can see Rowdy just there, patiently waiting. Nexary, though, still having no luck with getting themselves back up into the zone. As they now move up, Kino rotating just ahead of them. Demo, this is your opportunity to try and climb that ridge, because if you don't, it is going to be Voin Donkey coming in from behind to help you back into the lobby.
Situation has came to a very stern point where you're gonna make a move and it's gonna backbite you. You make one move, there's gonna be 3 moves ahead of you. There's going to be 3 moves that's going to be against you, but instead of being in your favor. Because after throwing a grenade, that's going to hit NC2 in an instant. E Arena is going to have one of their players being knocked out, but E Arena, Mormon, this guy is going haywire. The team is going haywire, but NC2, he got eliminated. So it's a 3 versus a 1 scenario, and Josefa, as soon as he's going to get taken down, it's ASI8's demise at 10 elimination, but on the side of ASI8 this round. Good start, good momentum that they gained for themselves, but not enough. But from this point onward, it is top 7, E Arena with 6. Once again, they're coming back with their game style, with their aggression, as the lobby is going to be more and more intense for all of these 7 total teams. E Arena is definitely going to step up with that aggressive stance, as Boom Esports is another team with the duos surviving. They're in the circle. They don't need to make any kind of unnecessary moves. They just can't go for that winner chicken dinner. But look at the champions. Look at the Nexori. Nexori gets knocked down, a confirmation, but oh, come on, Yummy Johanna. You had it. You had it almost, but missed out big time at the very end because of the reload that you just faced. But Boom Esports 0. Different angle, different location. Nobody's in the front lines, and he's just chilling out there. But E Arena, this team, they are constantly going after ASI8s. Now they are against a Wine Donkeys.
Well, let's see if Voin Donkey is going to be able to win that fight. A1 now, trying to figure out what their play will be. How are they going to sneak their way up in towards the zone left with a duo? A lot of squads already having quite a bit of a blow being dealt to their numbers here. Champions going to be one of those squads still left with the 3-piece. Same could be said here for Voin Donkey as well. But the rest of the lobby essentially now just the duos making their way through. Boom Esports also no strangers to that situation, as we can see Zero holding on the ridge line. A quick little rotate coming through here as Voin Donkey looks for their entry, sneaking up along the northern side. It is going to be the side of Champions here to meet them. Nexary, Apex, again, coming through with the utility, does find Mochi in the approach. So that is a 2-for-1 special. Now, will they be able to get the final player? The last one standing, at least on the front line here. The answer is almost yes. Voin Donkey now left with a solo. This is gonna be up to Gaycore now, looking to defend the honor. But of course, the champions also gonna try and capitalize on a bit of an opportunity here. As you can see, their teammate now creeping on the ridgeline. Kinotrope is going to be taken out in 6th place. Down to the final 5 we go. Apex still continuously looking to lay down the nades. They've not been able to get that confirmation, and that could quite easily be stolen by the hand there of Voin Donkey. Gaycore does exactly that now. The nades starting to rain on down. Apex, you got to switch to those weapons. But here we go. The shots are in, and that is it. Voin Donkey go down.
Apex, this guy has just became the Apex Predator. Oh my god. The way he just took down 2 players from the grenades and 1 with the MG3 with just the 35 bullets. It's amazing. It's amazing. Mormon, on the other hand, from E Arena, 6 elimination. Only 2 players are remaining. Attorney K and Mormon at this point. From this point onward, we do have to see what the situation is going to go. The grenade actually stopped E Arena into their paths. Another one being cooked by the hand of E Arena this time around. They're going to throw it up. It's going to do a lot of damage, but Turney K, he's going to get taken down by the DBS. Ladies and gentlemen, it is Mormon into the way, getting the elimination on Boom Esports and saving his own team member E Arena once again. After previous matches, 17 elimination, 18 total points. This match, he has finally managed to secure the top 3 spot with 8 eliminations. Champions, they also have 8 elimination. Nexori, they have 9 elimination. It's a 1 versus 1 versus 2. So, E Arena having the highest probability from this point onward to secure the winner with a chicken dinner. It's only going to depend on who's going to have that very middle spot and who's going to be able to hold down the fort against all of these teams.
Well, we'll get our answer to that question very soon now, as it is going to be Kino here for champions. The first one to get rushed as E Arena takes up their positions. 30K coming through the utilities yet again. Oh, quick little peek. There we go. Mormon has been knocked. Almost finished as well. There we go. Yes, indeed, that has happened. Now Apex coming through with the utilities is the 1v1v1 showdown. As Kino is the one positioned on high. Oh, but not being able to avoid the damage. A quick finish coming through from the side of Tony K. And now it is the final showdown. Who will be the one to get that winner with a chicken dinner? Tony K running straight up into a molly, a jump shot, and that is it. Nexary come in and they reign supreme, grabbing that winner chicken dinner with everything they had.
Apex, Apex, Apex. This guy from solo to YOLO all this game. He has done it. He got the winner chicken dinner for the team. Amazing start. Nexori, it is Apex, the Apex Predator in this game. Baga, 0990, Luck, alongside of Demo. These 4 players, out of which Apex came in with the clutch in the very end. He took down 3 players at one point in time. Then he took down another players of, in fact, I would say the same team. But in the very end, the moment he got like the MG3 reloaded, he got the MG3 lock and loaded, he has started to got those elimination numbers. And I'm really going to be excited to see how many eliminations that this guy has, because I think it's close to 10. But Apex with 7 individual elimination, 925 damage. That's a 29 minutes of survival time, ladies and gentlemen. 29 minutes and 17 seconds into the play. E Arena couldn't even stand a chance in this particular vicinity. They got absolutely decimated by Apex's MG3. The jump shot, the connectivity that he manages to secure on the players from that kind of like an angle, it's super hard on it as it is with any of the 7 bullets gun, DK. But this guy, he not only utilized that, he got those eliminations.
Yeah, and that's the key part of it, right? Not being able to just hit the shots, but do so in a beautiful fashion. And speaking of beautiful fashion, here we go. A glorious 20 points going over to the side there of Nexary. capitalizing on a phenomenal game. And of course, what a way to step it on up. The previous two matches, in fact, they only were able to garner themselves 3 points total. Now, going over and above their overall plays that we've seen so far. So this is exactly what we were talking about. One team can decide to change it, and then we just saw that happening. But E-Arena, though, you got to commend the consistency here, right? Coming through with 18 points in the previous match, 15 points in this match. Things are looking pretty good over in the E-Arena camp.
Yep, E-Arena. Again, with the consistency, match number 2, match number 3, 18 points, match 2, match 3, 15 points. That means within the 2 total matches that they have played, they have secured 33 points for themselves. And because of that, 34 total points, meaning match 1, they only managed to secure a single point for themselves. 34 it is, but still 9 points of a difference against the number 2 teams. That is ASI 8, is climbing up ladders, 3 steps, 3 placements. Number 2, they are 25 points. And Exori, 23, right there with this as well. A chicken dinner that they took got them 12 placements right there. But from this point onward, it is Champions Esports, 6 points, climbing up into the leaderboard. Number 4, they are 23, 22 for Boomies, Sports M9 with 21, 20 for A1, 19 for Alpha 7, and D Xavier with 18 points in total. Spot 1, the chart number 1 is done and dusted. 3 matches have been played. Chart 2, it is Wine Donkey, 16 total points, 14 for Talon, Kinotrope with 9, alongside of Cellcom, 8 for 4 Thrive, 7 for DRX, and the rest of the 3 teams that haven't even joined into the match.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure what's going on over with the DRX. I mean, I guess when we're on Erangel, they enjoy it a lot and they really come to the party. But this time around, it seems like Miramar not going to be such a big favorite here for them, at least not today. But I like what Kinotrope is doing, upping the ante as they are still steadily locking in those points. But of course, here we have our winner chicken dinner taker so far. It is going to be Sem9 as well as A1. And then, of course, the next week coming in just this last match. But now, as you can see, we have hit that halfway mark. So 3 matches done, 3 more matches to go.
3 more done, 3 more to go, and that's going to determine who will be into the top 9 after those 3 matches and secure their spot straight up into the grand finals of this reign. But right now, ladies and gentlemen, the 3 matches, the half day of the playoffs, of the final chance is done. The rest half is going to be after the short break. Do not go anywhere. Take a really light break, and we will be back after this highlights one. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Once again, after this short segment of the break, of the highlights break, we are back with our fourth match on the way. 3 matches have been done and dusted. We just witnessed a Miramar. That means it's time. It's time for the default map to once again commence the wrangle to actually start and take the flight for itself as well. But with you guys, once again, even after the half day, it is me, Torix, and with me, it's going to be none other than DK as well. DK, welcome back. Throughout the journey, it's been ups and downs on these teams. Some of the teams, one game, they go completely haywire on the aggressive stances. Some of the games, we see super stale game.
Yeah, I don't quite know what's happening there, right? Maybe it could be because they're trying something slightly different, or maybe they just, I don't know, need a little bit of tea or something. I don't know. Could be anything. But hopefully they've had enough tea and enough stuff to get themselves prepped up and ready to go, as we are going to be getting ready to move into our, fourth game for the day? Yeah, we are going to be heading over into Erangel yet again. Looking at a few of the plays that we've had so far, the overall standings that we've had throughout the day for the first 3 matches. And yeah, I think Nexury, the performance that we saw from them in this last match was actually a good turnaround, right? Game 1, Game 2, not necessarily having the craziest amount of points that they were able to secure, bringing that to the foreground. And then game number 3, they just locked in, dialed in, and went overboard with regards to those points. But so far, E-Arena has actually been the most consistent team that we've been seeing here today.
Yes.
So I would not be surprised if they look to keep that trend going into the 4th game yet again. But the big question is are we going to have the other squads now start to wake up a little bit more so, right? Like Celcom Digi Alliance, are we going to see them now just choosing violence, popping off a little bit? Will we see 4 Thrives again stepping up, bringing in a little bit of a surprise here? Or are we going to have another match 3 happening for them?
Oh my god. Please be the destructive one. Whatever they're doing, whichever team is doing, please go on the destructive side. I want them to choose a violence today for just a single day, because it's just a one day, and violence kind of solves everything. E-Arena has shown us this kind of like a gameplay that violence solves everything. Get 17 elimination in a single match. Make sure you're on the top of the leaderboard the very next game. And that's what they have done. But aside from that, yeah, some of the teams do need to step up, like 4 Thrives being one of them. I have to say they're still on the second chart. Every team that is on the second chart, in fact, they need to step up. They need to start like accumulating more and more points. The strategy of the aggression that was not working for them, they have to change that, and they have to like start getting into somewhat of the safer side, a safer like approach against all of the different teams, all of the different names, and whatever they're doing, they have to change that.
Another team that I think that also I liked a little bit of a change up that they brought through was going to be that from Voin Donkey, right? They were actually being a little bit of a trouble for a lot of the teams coming through from that northern side, right? Just utilizing the terrain and sneaking into Los Leones. So it was quite satisfying to see them actually looking to play that angle, looking to play a little bit of leverage down onto the squads. Alpha 7, I sincerely thought that they were going to just pop off and go absolutely crazy. Yes, they were able to secure themselves 7 points, but they weren't able to finish with those placement points in hand either. So maybe they can look to bring a little bit of that change coming into Erangel, which we should be getting to very soon.
Yeah, we should be getting into the 4th match of the Erangel very, very soon. It's not going to take us much time like it did in the previous match. And there we go. In fact, as we said it, we are in the game, ladies and gentlemen. From Primorx all the way up to Severny, the plain line goes. A Western side favored. Plain line this time around. Gutka, Hospital, Georgia Pool, Pachinki, all of these areas that was contested into the previous match. It's once again contested. And I think it's almost the same plane line as the previous one. Okay, it was going from the military base over towards the Georgia Pool Zarshi region, but this time we're starting from the Primorx all the way up to the Severny.
You know, sometimes a change is as good as a holiday, so let's see what kind of party we'll have coming through on this one. Of course, waiting in anticipation to see what that zone is going to be bringing. The last Erangel that we had was a very northern zone. with a big chunk of that all the way out in that blue as well. So where will the teams have to rotate towards this time around? Are we going to head up in the direction of Yasnaya Poliana? Going for a city finish again? Maybe going for a bit of a military island finish? Or are we going to go smack center? We'll find out very soon as the zone is about to reveal itself. We're waiting in anticipation to see what that's going to be bringing in. I'm not seeing any crazy hot drops. We do have 4 Thrives and Kinotrope in very close proximity to each other over towards that western bridge. But other than that, ooh, we have a western zone.
Okay, one thing from this circle is that, okay, majority of the teams will have a decent chance, but 4 Thrives, once again, going into the same vicinity of the